Shut down all nukes! Nagasaki, never again! Hiroshima, never again! Fukushima, never again! Shut down all nukes! Shut down all nukes! Shut down all nukes! Shut down all nukes! こんにちは。And hi, thank you again for joining for our 67th No-Nukes Action monthly 11th of every month rally. Here we are again in front of the San Francisco Japanese consulate. This is the window of the Japanese government. That's why we are standing here. And then we are voicing our concern out and demanding that not restart any Japanese nuclear power plant in Japan, and then halt the operation of the currently operating the nuclear power plant. And we are demanding for take care of the Fukushima people, Fukushima victims, especially for the children. We must take care of them right now, and we are demanding to not amend our pacifist Constitution, Article 9. We demand Japan not start any war. That's the reason we are standing here again. And then, as you know, the cleanup of the three melted Fukushima plant, it cost estimated 21.5 trillion yen. It's about $189 billion, but year by year, those estimated costs are ballooning. And after almost 7 years, next month, March 11th, is the 7th anniversary. But as a matter of fact, we know the situation is not under the control. As Prime Abe Minister, Abe told to the world that the matter, the condition is under control to invite 2020 Tokyo Olympic. But this is clearly lie. He lied to the world. He lied to the people in the world. Actually, the situation is very grave condition. Finally, after almost 7 years, finally people succeeded to take a picture of the reactor 2. But reactor 2 is less dangerous reactor. Even the reactor 1 and reactor 3 are much high radiation level. People cannot even close there. We don't know anything, the condition of the reactor 1 and 3. And even reactor 2, we saw the pictures, but then still we don't know how to retrieve those melted fuel. The originally melted fuel retrieving like 2021, but already recently they extended to 3 more years. So these very first task, undaunted task to retrieve those melted core, actually we really still don't know how to do. And then some people in the world think that TEPCO is not capable to do that. Japanese government is not capable. We still experiences many ways and then thinking and planning, but it's never retrieving is happening yet. We don't know the method. So far, there's a melted core high radiation material is in the casket in the reactor, is sort of protected. But to retrieve people who work here, there, immediate, facing the danger for the contamination. And then I don't know that is the best way to do. Anyway, and the ice world spent about 24.5 billion yen has so far failed to completely prevent the groundwater sinking into the reactor and sinking into the Pacific Ocean. So the situation is not under control. The money is not contained. And then the victims, especially, recently for the voluntarily evacuee, those people's housing compensation has been cut almost a year ago. The government attitude, reconstruction ministers has said those people are voluntarily evacuated by themselves, so that the consequence and then do what to do is their responsibility, they said. But those people evacuated themselves not from normal situation. People had to evacuate themselves because they know that the people who in the area which they lived are not safe, particularly for young people and their children. So they had to evacuate themselves, and it is hard for those people because husband, wife, yes, they have job and kids go to school, and they have to all give up those things and they have to move to somewhere else. And some people cannot get, quit the job, so that the husband and the wife and the kids, those family are divided. Government and TEPCO have responsibility of what happened in Fukushima. This Fukushima disaster would be prevented even 9 years before the 2011 government agency suggested to make stimulation planning for the big predictable tsunami. But TEPCO declined and refused, and even the government didn't push further. Those accidents could be really prevented. About 20 class action in Japan now. The most of lawsuits are defeated by TEPCO and government, but very few winning verdict made clear that government and TEPCO have responsibility of this meltdown accident, disaster, because they could be prevented. Now, it's outrageous that the international, safeguard for the radiation, which is 1 millisievert per year, the Japan raised the safeguard to the 20 times up. 20 millisievert per year is okay, so that the government didn't have to evacuate people from Fukushima. They didn't have to spend a lot of money for the compensation. That's the reason they, raised the safety bar, and they still, like after 7 years, they never come back. They never lower these. Still, people are living in the dangerous places, especially school kids. We really need to change this current, but 7 years after, how many people know about the situation in Fukushima? And then how many people really know this, this really enormous task to clean up the meltdown plant? More like people, instead of trying to know that, because the government's safety campaign putting mind to the more bright side, that's the reason Abe invited 2020 Olympic Tokyo, so that the people are more festival, entertainment mind, and trying to forget and try to not to see the problem in Fukushima. That's the reason already 3 plants are operating. We started, Japan industry cannot contain the melted plant. Then why they can restart another plant? It is just really insane. And Prime Minister Abe really don't want to give up the plant because, of course, Japanese government want to have the technology, nuclear technology in our hands, so that they have potential to make the nuclear weapon in near future. And then changing and creating the laws. It first came secrecy law. And next comes security law. Then comes conspiracy law. So that now self-defense force military can go outside and join the war. Now Japan can export the weapons. And many secret, we don't know which one is the secret, cannot disclose. Those are criminal acts that they are punishable in jail. And conspiracy law is shut our mouth to talk against the government. Japan is stepping backwards to the imperial, wartime. And Japan, when Trump came last November, Abe promised to buy even more military military things, hardware, and buy more airplane, jet plane, and spend so many monies. And the Japanese military is growing and growing. It is military. I thought Japan cannot have a military, but we do have. Right now is Winter Olympic. The South Korean president halted the joint operation with USA, and to not stimulate the Kim Jong-un's nerve, so that the halting the joint exercise, Abe told the President Moon, that you better start joint exercise soon after the Olympic. Then President Moon said to Abe that don't meddle into internal affair. Prime Minister Abe is the first foreign head to come over to Trump and congratulated Trump be elected as president. And then, unfortunately, Abe's victory recently, which is Nago City Mayor's election. Nago City, which is Henoko, is located in. Incumbent mayor who against this relocation of the Henoko from Futenma really lost this election in February. The Liberal Democratic, another candidate won with backup with Junichiro Koizumi, the former president's son, is now a popular parliament member, came to support for the opposite candidate. It is not really good news for the people who against Japanese militarism and then those nuclear weapon and then power. The difference of the vote is 3,500, but 47% of voters are still voted to the incumbent mayor. So those 45% of the voters are against this Henoko, U.S. base. I wonder how it goes this 2018. There will be a lot of things, and then good thing, but maybe bad thing more. Who knows? Anyway, we really cannot give up. We cannot forget the Fukushima people. Fukushima people's wish is people never forget them. Their fear is we forget the Fukushima people. So we stand here for the vigil too, and really make better and ask and demand government for the compensation, free health care, and then kids thyroid cancer. It's almost like 200 people, over 150 people already had surgery, and even the government is denying for the connection with this meltdown disaster and this epidemic. So we have to really demand and stand together. Well, okay, every rally, 11th of the month, we are writing a fresh letter to Prime Minister. This time, Tsukuru-san in Los Angeles, she wrote, she is putting her energy to make a lot of documentary movie viewing event, which she brought like 8212 for the thyroid cancer documentary, and Henoko base, I think too, Hyoteki Nomura, and this time she brings nuclear carol for next month. She's an activist, so she wrote a letter, and I like to today Adria Fong to read her letter. So here's Adria. Thank you. Thank you.
Sunday, February 11th, 2018. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, come next month we are entering the 8th year since the tragedies of the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and the tsunami. Prime Minister, we want you to know that the world is watching. The world has not forgotten people of Fukushima, no matter how hard you try to fool us into believing that the matter is done and taken care of. In fact, the matter is far from taken care of. Is it? The failed reactors are still leaking contaminated water to the ground and ocean by the tons. Tens of thousands of people are still displaced. As if it is not bad enough, the policies and tactics that the Japanese government employs to force people to return to the contaminated area by raising the threshold of safety by 20 times the international standard and cutting funding for the evacuees are despicable and inhumane. It seems that we are now only beginning to discover the sheer magnitude of the damages at the Fukushima Daiichi with no clear process solutions for containment in sight. And yet the Japanese government is pouring billions of dollars into the 2020 Tokyo Olympics under the guise of reconstruction. This demonstrates gross negligence on the part of the government. In October 2017, Ms. Mitsuko Sonoda, a voluntary evacuee from Fukushima, gave her testimony in front of the UN Human Rights Council. She spoke of financial and emotional hardships that she and other evacuees face. My concerns and demands directly echo Ms. Sonoda's. Number 1, respect the rights of voluntary evacuees. Provide adequate funding and housing assistance so they will not be forced to return to unsafe areas. Number 2, adopt the international standard of 1 millisivert a year as the maximum public exposure time limit instead of the current limit of 20 millisivert used by the Japanese government. Number 3, admit responsibilities for the 2011 accident and for the concealment and negligence of the facts which unnecessarily have caused to expose many to radiation. Number 4, evacuate or execute thorough assessment and evaluation of the Fukushima Daiichi facilities and surrounding area and make findings available to the public in the outside Japan. Number 5, provide free health care and monitoring service to all affected and at-risk individuals who resided near the Fukushima Daiichi at the time of the accident and make findings available to the public in and outside of Japan. Number 6, provide free health care services to victims of the accidents with mental health issues. Number 7, make termination of all nuclear plant facilities the number 1 priority of the national government and proactively invest in the support the growth of alternative energy industries. Policies is about stewardship, managing public resources so they work to ensure peaceful and secure lives for the weakest among us. However, it seems to me that in recent years, political leaders in Japan have taken liberties with politics to pursue their personal agenda. Morally and ethically, something is horribly wrong with this picture. As a nation who has experienced the atrocities of the 2 A-bombs and suffered possibly the worst nuclear accident ever, Japan should be taking the leadership position in the world advocating for and actively working towards the termination of all things nuclear. Instead, Japan is steadily marching towards the supporting the very source of evil that has caused so much suffering of its people. As I stated in the beginning of this letter, the world is watching Japan's every move. Please keep in mind that any violation of the rights of its own citizens and any actions that would put other nations at risk would not go unnoticed. It is time to do right by the people of Japan and by the international community. Support Flores Larson, Los Angeles, California.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Yeah, that's yours. Thank you. Let's see. I got the present of the gloves from Sarasa-san, who just came back from Japan. So everybody had a yellow. Yellow is the symbol color of the anti-no nukes. I mean, anti-no nukes. No nukes. No nukes. So that's good, right? Okay. Before we one more shouting, next March 11th will be the 7th anniversary. It is the 7th anniversary. Oh my God, I cannot believe that is feel like a yesterday or feel like a long, long time ago. It depends on the where you stand, I think. But anyway, as I mentioned before, is condition is not under control. That is a really terrible matter that everybody should know. The control is not under the control. The situation is not under control. That's the reason we are still here demanding to not restart and then fully compensate and then free health care for the victims in Fukushima. And March 11th will be Sunday. Here again, we like to meet front of the San Francisco Japanese consulate. We like to have hundreds of people here. So if you know friend and family, bring here please. And thank you again for joining our 67th monthly rally. Shut down all the nukes!
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 Fukushima never again!
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 Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Hiroshima never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again!
Nagasaki never again! Shut down all the nukes! 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 Shut down Diablo Canyon now!
Shut down Diablo Canyon now!
Shut down Diablo Canyon now!
Diablo Canyon now!
再稼働反対！再稼働反対！
再稼働反対！
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 Shut down all the nukes!
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 All the nukes!
Thank you. See you March 11th here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jin-san.
Thank you.